If you have kids or no kids, this one might be one for you. Imagine this. Your child's school is proudly marked as a gun-free zone. No guns allowed. The sign alone is supposed to mean safety. But history tells us a darker story. 94% of mass shootings happen in so-called gun-free zones. That alone proves that these signs do not stop evil people with bad intentions. We know this, guys and gals. I'm preaching to the choir. They only stop law-abiding citizens who might have been able to fight back. So the question here is this. Are these zones really protecting our kids? Or are they painting a big target on their backs, creating a target-rich environment? Well, this past week, Congressman Thomas Massie introduced a bill that could turn this entire debate upside down. It's H.R. 5066, and it's called the Safe Students Act. And it seeks to do one thing: end federal gun-free school zones once and for all. Now, today, we're going to take a deep dive into what this bill says, why it matters, and what it could mean for the future of school safety here in America. And I realize that there are many choices when it comes to who you choose for your cell phone service. And there are new ones popping up all the time. But here's the truth. There's only one that boldly stands in the gap for every American that believes that freedom is worth fighting for, and that's Patriot Mobile. Not only are they leading the way in the red economy, but Patriot Mobile also outgains the competition when it comes to technology. Patriot Mobile is one of the only carriers with access to all three major U.S. networks. That means exceptional nationwide coverage, along with the ability to have multiple numbers on different networks, all on a single smartphone. Think of it like a business line. Now, folks, this is a game changer. They also offer unlimited data plans, mobile hotspots, international roaming, internet backup, and so much more. Switching is easier than ever. Activate in minutes from the comfort of your own home. You can keep your number, you can keep your phone, or you can upgrade. It's time to make the switch today. Go to patriotmobile.com/gunsandgadgets. That's guns, the letter N, gadgets, or call 972-PATRIOT and use promo code gunsandgadgets for a free month of service. That's patriotmobile.com/gunsandgadgets or call 972-PATRIOT. Thanks to Patriot Mobile for sponsoring this video. Everybody, my name is Jared. This is Guns and Gadgets, the premier source for Second Amendment news. And I want to give you the info here. This could be a big bill. I think this bill's needed, and I want to hear from you. And on August 29th, just last week, Representative Thomas Massie out of Kentucky reintroduced the Safe Students Act, or H.R. 5066, in the House of Representatives. Now, the bill aims to repeal the federal gun-free school zone that was enacted in the 1990 Gun-Free School Zones Act. And the bill aims to repeal the Federal Gun-Free School Zones Act of 1990, a law that broadly banned firearms within 1,000 feet of schools nationwide. Now, with the Safe Student Act, Thomas Massie wants state and local governments, even individual school boards, to craft their own firearms policies rather than being bound by sweeping federal bans. Now, the Gun-Free School Zone Act in 1990 was Joe Biden's baby. He was a senator, and it was signed by George H.W. Bush when he was president. In 1995, the Supreme Court struck down the original version in Lopez as unconstitutional. And in 1996 and 1997, Congress amended it. And in 2022, Thomas Massie first introduced the Safe Students Act. Back then, it was H.R. 7415. And like I said, he just reintroduced it last week. It's now H.R. 5066. And the key provisions of the original 1990 Act, it prohibited activity that if you knowingly possessed or discharged a firearm in a school zone, you were going to get jammed up hard. And what is a school zone? Well, it was any public, private, or parochial school grounds, including parking, and then areas within 1,000 feet of those grounds. That's a big perimeter that encompasses much more than most people think. I challenge you, go outside and don't do it at your school because they'll think you're kind of weird and you'll become a suspect. But pick an item, like a stop sign near you, and then walk off 1,000 feet. And then picture that as a giant perimeter. And that's what the school zone is, the gun-free school zone. It's that giant perimeter around any single school in America. And the penalties were up to a $5,000 fine and 5 years in prison, or both. There were some exceptions, of course, that included possession or discharge by a law enforcement officer in an official capacity or as part of a school program like DARE and all that stuff. Now, Massie and his supporters argue that gun-free school zones are counterproductive. In his press statement, he claimed that since 1950, 94% of mass public shootings have occurred in places where citizens are banned from bringing guns. Who brings a gun? And that stat is staggering. It builds on similar claims that Massie made in the past. Like in his 22 version of the bill, the percentage was 98%. So, I don't know, maybe things are getting a little bit better, but it's still terrible. Now, the original supporters of the bill are, Dudley Brown and National Association for Gun Rights. And Dudley said that so-called gun-free school zones have left our children utterly defenseless. Let's defend them with a good guy with a gun. And other supporters, Aiden Johnston of Gun Owners of America, who has said, we must harden schools to protect teachers and students. And to do that, we must end gun-free zones. And then Diana Muller of Women for Gun Rights, she said, parents and teachers can lawfully carry and protect our kids. Should we repeal this? And repealing the federal ban would allow willing teachers. Here's the key. Everybody gets freaked out like, we're going to repeal that. It means everybody's going to bring guns. It would allow willing teachers, not forcing anybody to do anything, but willing teachers and faculty could arm themselves. We do have a Second Amendment right. Don't forget that. It doesn't disappear when you walk behind a chain link fence, unless it's a prison, I guess. But it would remove soft targets on school campuses, and we already know that schools are a very soft target. Like I said earlier, in U.S. versus Lopez in '95, the Supreme Court struck down the original version of the Gun-Free School Zone Act as unconstitutional under the Commerce Clause, and they then prompted Congress to amend it, and that current version is in effect today, although the Supreme Court hasn't revisited it. So while the original law was struck down, then amended, it has been used to prosecute multiple cases, including appeals, both upheld and overturned. So it's had some mileage. And as of now, H.R. 5066 has just been introduced and has been referred to the House Judiciary Committee. No wider action as of yet. But Massie's not alone. The original co-sponsors include Lauren Boebert of Colorado, Eric Burleson of Missouri, Andrew Clyde, Georgia, Eli Crane of Arizona, Warren Davidson of Ohio, Paul Gosar, Arizona, Marjorie Taylor Greene in Georgia, Mary Miller of Illinois, Scott Perry in Pennsylvania, and Chip Roy in Texas. And Congressman Massie has been retweeting anytime somebody supports this bill. He does go on and thank them. So there have been more people jumping on to support. On one side, the supporters argue that arming good guys could deter or stop attackers. And gun-free zones make schools soft targets, and local control allows policies tailored to community needs. Now, critics have been arguing that more guns could lead to accidental discharges or escalation, and they also say liability training and psychological issues arise when arming staff. Do you think they know that maybe these people will carry anyway? I mean, concealed is concealed, but most people will carry when they're not working in a gun-free zone if they follow it, but it doesn't cause any issues just exercising a right. It doesn't make you crazy. And not all schools or communities want guns in the classrooms. We know that, but they wouldn't have to. They wouldn't be forced to. Now, this debate is deeply emotional. It's fraught with safety concerns and constitutional right issues and differing philosophies on prevention versus deterrence. Now, the next steps here is the bill must be scheduled for committee hearing, and then lawmakers will testify and debate, and it could move to the House floor, and then there would be it should be able to pass the House floor with a very thin majority, but the issue, again, would be 60 votes in the Senate. Now, if you agree that taking action to protect our children, our most valuable and vulnerable assets, then call your U.S. representative at 202-224-3121 and tell them to get behind Congressman Massie's H.R. 5066, the Repeal the Gun-Free School Zone Act of 1990. Now, let me know what you guys and gals think here. Here's the question I have for you. Should schools have the option to arm staff? Should staff and teachers have the option to exercise their constitutional right that exists even while they're being employed? Should that be allowed? And is federal oversight needed to ensure safety? Well, let's keep this civil and thoughtful. This is one of those ones that tugs from both sides of the aisle here. If you found this breakdown helpful, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to stay updated. I want to thank you for watching. I will tell you my opinion here as a father of 4. I've never been in a gun-free zone unless it was a TSA checkpoint or a lockup facility. So I hope you all have a great day. I love each and every single one of you. Take a moment to tell your loved ones how much you love them, because you never know when you won't have that opportunity again. With that said, I'll see you on the next one. Stay safe, stay free. Take care.